We are ready to go for the third video in this series of unboxing this giant $2,000 order. As you can see, we're down a few boxes. This was all the way up to here. So today we're gonna do this box and this box, which is gonna be box number 4 and box number 5. So I'm gonna pick these up and we're gonna head into the office. Before we get started, I wanna go over where we're at right now. We are just about to start on the 4th box. I ordered 14 boxes for $2,000. We're currently at just north of $1,000. So we're at $1,055 in value. I paid $2,000 for the lot, so about halfway there in terms of getting to the cost. But my true cost, when you factor in my time and batteries and chargers and everything else that would go into making all of this stuff sellable, it's quite a bit more than that. Really, my target for this entire lot should be somewhere around $6,000. And keep in mind, this does take a lot of time to process, to test, to physically take pictures of, and to list. And a lot of what I am going to be selling this on is on eBay. So there's a lot of time. And time is money, and this is my job. So that's kind of the target that I'm looking at, is roughly, once you factor everything in, is about doubling my money. As with anything, there's a little bit of a risk, and maybe it's the gambler in me, but I like a little bit of risk. This is just a portion of my business. The bigger portion of my business is also selling used electronics, but more in-demand product. So more current generation cameras, DSLR cameras, and lenses like that. And it's honestly one of the funnest parts of the business. And it's one of the reasons why I started the YouTube channel in the first place, was to kind of share this side of the business, because I find it really interesting, because you do find some hidden gold nuggets from time to time, and it's really thrilling. So let's crack into box number 4 and see how we do. Box number 4. Go ahead and open it up here. Show you a sneak peek here. Ta-da! The cool thing about all of these individual videos is, whether you watch them consecutively or independently and on their own, I go through a per box cost or per video cost, as well as the overall total for this series. So you can watch as few or as many as you'd like to. Let's start. Kodak EasyShare Z740. This is a fairly popular point-and-shoot digital camera that was released by Kodak 12-15 years ago now. 5 megapixel. Sold a lot of these. Over the years. Uses AA batteries. Got some here. Got the AA's ready here. If you're new here, hi, my name's Kevin. This is what I do full-time. Been doing this now for 7 years, mainly buying and selling used electronics and various other categories. Actually been started doing it part-time long before that, and started out my career as a reseller, really selling used golf balls when I was in junior high and high school. So that was kind of the start of this whole thing, and then have moved in various categories, and then got into the photo industry about 15 years ago now, and have been kind of more or less specializing in cameras ever since. But you can do this sort of thing in really a lot of different areas. A lot of different categories you're able to do things like this. Just different types of sources that you would need to develop. Camera power's on, looks good. Lens moves in and out. Lens looks good. A little bit of dust inside, but no haze or mold. That's something I always check, whether it's a regular lens or in a camera, or a DSLR camera lens or regular SLR camera lens, is just check inside the glass and make sure everything looks good. So this camera, in used good working condition, is going to have a value of about $35. So good start there. Another Kodak. This one is 6.1 megapixels, so it looks like maybe a year or two newer. Kodak EasyShare Z650. Kind of in that mid-tier, starting to get into decent optical zoom range of a 10x. And these cameras actually take pretty decent pictures. I've been noticing a fair number of comments lately asking, who buys these cameras? How are you able to sell, 15 or 20-year-old digital cameras for, granted, not huge money, but, it's not chump change either. It's still a little bit of money. Oh, power's on. And I think my answer to that is there's a lot of people out there. There's people that have been using this camera for when it was released. Maybe they got it brand new and it just broke for the first time, and they want the exact same replacement. There's people that's probably the majority. And then there's also the people that are getting into photography for the first time and don't have a lot of money and just want to try a digital camera and not their phone for the first time. And then the third group of people is people that are also maybe new to photography but are more on the digicam craze, which this would classify as a digicam. And they're more in it for, more of the vintage retro picture quality look. And the fact that when you pull this camera out, if you're shooting somewhere, you're not going to get, that kind of scared look if you brought a big DSLR camera and you were shooting with it. This just kind of puts a smile on people's faces. So those are the three areas where I see and continue to see decent sales out of the camera category, while the overall market for cameras is kind of going down. So Kodak EasyShare Z650 is going to have a value of about $35 with AA batteries and a memory card. And that may have broken in transit, actually. That's really unfortunate. So because of the way the supplier packaged these with very little use of packing material, when they made their journey, it looks like this one may have gotten damaged en route, or maybe the LCD was already cracked. I can't be entirely sure. But that really is going to affect the value. So I'll test this one later, but because of the LCD, it does power on, but see, well, thank goodness, that saved us all a lot of time. Power's on, but has some serious issues with the screen. It does have this viewfinder here, so it may still work in terms of taking pictures, so I'll have to test that later. But with that impact mark and the actual broken screen, that affects the value drastically. So won't assign any value to this one. Really cool though, neat little camera, Sony DSC P1. Okay. Oh, okay, you're coming along. This is the 2-for-1 special. Whop. Fujifilm FinePix S3000. Cords still all over the place. Has quite a bunch of residue in the battery area. A lot of acid residue. So that's going to be an issue. Because it extends all the way back into the rear AA mount. That is very challenging to actually clean. Also quite a bit here as well that you can see. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. This is going to be a project camera I'm going to try to work on. If this camera was in good working condition, it'd have a value of about 25 to 30. I've sold a lot of these. Neat little camera. Uses XD memory cards too. Okay, next camera. Oh, I'll grab that conjoined one here in a little bit. Kodak EasyShare C195. LCD looks okay, but does have quite a few micro scratches on it. That will affect the value. AA batteries. My favorite kind of battery. Power's on. Lens looks decent. This is just an optical lens cleaning solution that I use. Try not to use a solution if I can help it. Sometimes you have to. Lens looks really good now. So lens is good. When I do this, when I'm taking a picture, generally I try to use a whitish background so you're able to see if there's any dust that's inside of the sensor that could actually affect the picture quality. Took a picture, flash fires, camera takes a picture fine. And this camera is what I would call in like fair working condition because of the LCD wear. But works perfectly good, just need to clean it off. It's got some wear on the top there. But otherwise, yeah, this is a decent camera. In its current condition, this will sell all day long pretty quickly for about 40 bucks. So $40 for the Kodak EasyShare C195. Vivitar DVR 410. Oh, I forgot that camera again. All right, conjoined guy, coming up. I'll put you right on the edge of the table, so don't forget about you. Yeah, does appear to be working. pretty low quality in terms of, because it's all digital zoom, so it looks really pixelated. So this is going to be a camera that has nominal value, maybe like $5. But this is one, because it's working, I would donate. Now we're going to get to the conjoined one we haven't gotten to yet. This is a Kodak EasyShare LS743. Uses a Kodak KLIC 5001 battery, which I have. I just need to grab real quick. Kind of a cool, very unique rectangular shape on that one. Got a bunch, whole stack of them, just in case we get more Kodaks. Power's on. Like to see it. Lens moves in and out. Let's see if we can take a picture once it finishes formatting. So these cameras, older cameras, just deleting 17 pictures takes like 10 seconds. Just get used to it. Not a huge amount of value on this camera. With just the battery in working conditions, about $20. If it came with a memory card and cables and maybe the box, you're looking at about 30 on this. So we're gonna call it $20. Oh, HP. I had a viewer that was asking, how come I haven't seen any HP cameras? Got one. This is a later generation HP, which is a HP R847, which is an 8.2 megapixel camera. Uh-oh. The blue battery latch just fell off as I was moving the battery door. Wah, wah. So that's not good. Normally the outer battery door can still hold in the battery fine. It's just not as good of a connection. This uses the same battery as the camera we just tested, strangely enough. So I'm gonna set the HP over here, pull out one of my rechargeables, and we'll see if the outer battery door does the trick. And this camera powers on just by sliding this. Green light came on. And it did power on. There are some dead lines on the LCD, which you can see there. Normally, that sort of issue does not affect the actual picture quality. There we go. Flash did fire. So this camera works and takes pictures. That's pretty neat. So if you didn't know HP made cameras, now you know. There was a lot of computer manufacturers of this period, including like Gateway and Dell, that also made cameras. Because of the battery issue and because of the LCD issue, we're gonna look at a used value of probably in the $10 to $15 range. I'm gonna go ahead and say 15. Another Kodak. We're on quite the Kodak train here. Oh, it has a memory card in it. 128 megabyte. 128 megabytes. Just for information's sake, like most of the memory cards you see now are more like 128 gigabytes. Oh, wow, that's gnarly. Look at that. That is battery acid residue in the AA battery tray. It extends all the way down. Whoop. Not good. This is probably not going to work. I'll try to see if I can get it to work when I do the batch testing of cameras with battery acid. But that is going to be probably a lot of pain. May not end up working. If this was in working condition, value of about $20 on this guy. Ah, cousin to my favorite little toy camera. It's a little toy. I'm a little partial to... Oh, it turns on. Wow. Oh, look, I can play a game of Snake. But no real value here. I'll donate this one since it is working. Another Kodak. EasyShare Z740. Got some paint or paint residue on the side. Something like that. Let's try popping the flash. Oh, the flash. Yeah, flash issue. Okay, I forgot about that. I got so excited I forgot that the flash doesn't work. So the flash is supposed to extend up here and flip up. Woo! And it's not doing that. So because this camera really struggles with lighting conditions, you often need that flash, especially indoors, to make the pictures look good. And that's what's really gonna make that an issue. So I'm gonna try to see if I can fix that. If this was tested and working, like we saw before, even with that kind of lens curtain issue, you're looking at a value of 20 to 25 here. But because of this, I'm not gonna assign a value yet. Okay. GE A835 with potentially a lens issue. Whenever you have the lens that looks like that, where it's partially pushed out and the camera is turned off. It's a sign of potential lens problems. Does not put a smile on my face normally. So we'll put those in the battery area. It has a memory card inside, 4 gig, so at least a little bit of value there. Turn it on. Wow, didn't expect that. So, pretty noisy. Did you know GE made cameras? They do, and they still do, I think. They make all sorts of things. Looks fine, actually. It definitely has some wear. So I wouldn't put this in good condition. I would put it in more like, I would put this more in like a fair condition. And the value for this camera in its current condition is going to be about 20 bucks. Sony Mavica MVC, it's got a $429 price on it from just a year ago. MVC FD73. This uses the long skinny Sony battery, which goes in there. I'm gonna grab one real quick. Okay, got a charged battery here. This is a Sony NP-F330 battery. And zoom out a little bit. Yep, recording. Sorry, this is kind of a beefy camera. Can't really see super well, but did just take a picture. And overall condition wise, looks like this has room for 8 more pictures on this disc. Once I turn it off, I will show you what the disc looks like. Ta-da! Woo! That's the memory card. They come in all shapes and sizes. We've, oh, battery door's a bit loose. Okay, so condition's fair. Value on this is going to be about 20 bucks. Save the battery here. Sony MVC FD73. What do we got next? Olympus. Whoa, what's this? Olympus C7000. Uses Olympus Li10B battery. Grip a little bit worn. No power. Okay. I do have a charger for this. I just need to charge one. So I will charge this, and it looks like it should be working. I'm going to assign a value of 20 bucks on this camera. And hopefully it's working. It uses XD for memory, I believe. My first digital camera was an Olympus that was a few years older than this one. Ooh, look at this! Fujifilm FinePix 1300. Sold this guy a few times. And kind of a neat camera. More of a square, still rectangle, but more of a square design. Uses AA batteries, which often are corroded because they've been in these cameras for so long, just like this one. So that's going to be an issue. And that is something that we are going to have to test further. So not going to assign any value on this one right now. Really pretty corroded on one of the posts, so doesn't look like a high likelihood. One of the things I'd like to do is double check that there's no smart media card inside, because those have quite a bit of value. If you get into the highest size that they made for that particular memory card style, you're looking at a pretty high value of around 30 bucks for a single card. A card that looks like this. Didn't come with it, I just have this one for testing, but this single card is worth like 30 bucks. Pretty wild. So no value on this. If this was in good working condition and you paired it with a smaller sized memory card, you'd be looking at a value of about $30 here. 1.3 megapixel camera. Ooh, Canon. Canon PowerShot SD850. It's got someone's name address label on the side, so I won't show that. But this is a metal-bodied Canon ELPH that Canon produced in very large quantities. This was released, I think, right around the time where I became a camera buyer for a consumer electronics company. It does power on, which is crazy. It says change the battery pack. Okay. All right. Got the battery. Put it in there. Hope that it works. The lens looks decent. LCD looks okay. And noisy. Some black spots appear to be on the LCD. You pair this with a smaller sized memory card and a charger, and you're looking at a value of about 40 bucks in its current condition. I've seen this camera recently sell for a pretty good amount of money, like 70 to 100 in really good condition. But, you know, used camera pricing is a little bit like anything else in life. There's upswings and downswings based on supply and demand. The old supply and demand. Okay, got a couple disposable film cameras here. So no value on these guys. I think with that last camera we hit our kind of minimum target of in that 240, 250 range. So again, continuing to hope that we will find some. Let me try powering this on. CRV3 says that the expiration was 2019. Well, might as well try. Ooh, it does work. Nice. Lens moves out. This is a Kodak EasyShare Z740, which is the same camera that we've already done. Internal memory is full. There we go. Took a while. This Kodak EasyShare Z740 isn't in quite as good condition as the first one that we did. Because of that, we're going to assign a value of $30 on this camera. What else we got in here? Ooh, Nikon with a bunch of tape on the bottom. That's the old one. Let's try this one. So a lot of cameras, you have to hold down the battery door for the camera to even work. Very noisy lens. Camera does appear to be functioning fine. In this condition with the broken battery door, not a whole lot of value on this. In fact, I'm not going to assign any value, even though it is working. You might be able to get 5 or 10 bucks out of it, but I'm not going to assign any value. But nice to know that it is working. Okay, Kodak EasyShare CX7530. AA batteries. Put that in my battery area. Put the dubs in. Ooh, it's got a memory card inside. 2 gig, Kodak. Nice. So many batteries. Okay, got the dubs in. Move it to auto, turn it on. There's a dial on the top of the camera that you turn on and off. Takes a few seconds for the camera to power on. Go through the menu. The lens moves out. Press OK to do live view. Sure. Does have an optical viewfinder. Noisy, but is working. Let's try the flash and see if the... Yep. So working and taking pictures. So this is in fair condition, and value on the Kodak EasyShare CX7530 in this current condition is about $25. So 25 here. Okay. Fujifilm Instax Mini 7S, also missing the battery door, just like our last video. I had to Frankenstein 2 different cameras together in 2 different colors to make it work. I don't have that luxury here. So I'll have to see. Oh, the shutter. Dang, the button broken on the front too. Ooh, this is definitely a 4 parts type of deal. So no value on this guy. What's this? Oh, another Nikon. Nikon Coolpix 5000. Sold this camera a lot over the years. One of the first cameras with the flip out LCD. I think this came out around the same time that the Canon PowerShot S3 did. Also had a little bit more of an optical zoom. Okay. But this camera's in decent working condition. Noisy noisy lens, value of about $20 on this camera. Nikon 5000. Oh, wow. Look at that. This is a sharp view cam. Really kind of crazy cool camera. I think this is digital 8 tape, but has impact mark and a broken screen. Let's see if I can angle that quite right. See if you can see that. So this guy, I'll save for later. It uses a giant Mongo battery I don't have. Sometimes these use AA's. They made these for a few years, and the tray, I believe, is right here. And you would pop that out and pop in the high 8 tape, and then you could record video with this. Liquid crystal video camera. I wonder if this is one of the first with an LCD screen. Could be. This is the Sharp VL-E40U. Got a cool little Pentax case. Look at that. That's neat. Ooh, it's got an HP camera in it. This is HP number 2. Neat. Oh. This is an HP Photosmart R727. Kind of a cool, 20 years ago. This probably came out, maybe 2006, 2008, something like that. Seems to be in decent shape. The lens is actually behind this little slot here. So when I power it on, it will go away and expose the lens. Ooh, this looks good. Yeah, nice. Noisy lens, this is very common for the HP Photosmart, and doesn't move out super smoothly. Again, very common for the HP Photosmart. Depending on the model, they have a couple different lens designs. So this one with the recessed lens, that you often see a fair amount of noise. Just something I've noticed over the years. Yeah, this is in really nice shape. I mean, this is close to very good because there's no issues with the body at all. I mean, it looks really, really, really nice. So pair this with a replacement charger and a memory card. Value on this camera is actually around $35. So that's a cool one. HP Photosmart R727. Okay, 2 cameras left. We have a GE X5. Sold a lot of these. They also have the GX500, very common. Only 3 batteries inside. Uses AA batteries. This is a kind of a budget price point, first generation-ish bridge digital camera. Panasonic was kind of the innovator when it came to bridge and longer zoom technology with a lot of their cameras. The DMC FZ series comes to mind. So a lot of other brands started making cameras like this, including GE. So we've had a couple GE cameras in here. Most of the time, not a ton of value. They have this kind of unique petal tulip lens design. Turn it on. And there you go. So, decent camera. You often see dead or stuck pixels on the LCD, which normally does not affect the actual picture quality. Something to note. But this camera is actually looking pretty good. So good working condition. This camera is going to sell for about $30 to $40 depending on what it comes with. But I'm going to go on the lower side of that, and we'll say 30. Actually, yeah, we'll say $30 on this camera. And it is a Nikon Coolpix 4300. And uses a compact flash card and takes an EN-EL1 battery, which I have. Yep, focus is fine. A little bit noisy, and you'll see that from time to time with older digital cameras. It's, again, if this is something you're keeping, then it probably won't bother you that much. If you're selling something like this, you would want to note it in the item description so the customer knows what they're getting. So this particular camera, kind of depends on what it comes with. If it comes with the battery, charger, cables, and a compact flash memory card, you'd be looking at a value of probably 30 to 40. Just with a replacement battery like this, with no compact flash card, you're looking at a value of about 20 to 25. I'm going to go on the lower end and say $20 on this camera. Sold this one a number of times. I'm going to go ahead and grab box number 5. Moving on to box number 5. So last box was okay. I think we just crossed $400 in potential value in that lot. which is so-so. Hopefully we'll get a box here and there that is going to be over $500 or $600. That would be ideal. Go ahead and open this sucker up. See a little peek of what we got inside there. Polaroid film camera, missing the rubber strap on the side. Common problem with this camera. Does affect the value a little bit. This is a Polaroid, uses 600 film, made in China. So this is one of the later ones, probably made in the 90s. So this value on this, even with the strap missing, is going to be about $24. I've sold a bunch of these. I sell normally a few of these a week. Well, this is an old Kodak. DC200 megapixel. I'm assuming it's maybe 1 megapixel. This big guy uses compact flash card from memory. And what kind of batteries we got? Double A's, okay. Oh, it might have the original Kodaks in there that are like 15 years old. So I'll put these in my battery waste area. Power on? Oh, it does power on. Look at that. Got ourselves a potential working camera here. Look at that, that's cool. Look at the font on that thing. This camera is going to have a value of about 20 bucks. Now, the downside for larger cameras like this is it may actually weigh over a pound. And normally when I ship out smaller cameras, they ship out first class, which is under a pound. So this might have to ship priority or UPS, which is gonna be a minimum of like $8-9 bucks. So that'll eat into the profits real quick. So this isn't a camera I would necessarily seek out to buy, but if it came along for the ride and it's working, then I will certainly try it. Ooh, another Canon. Canon PowerShot A470. Kind of a neat little camera. This came in a variety of colors. It does have a fair amount of acid residue inside of the battery tray. Concerning. We will try powering on just to see if it works. And if not, then we will further test. No power. Okay, I'll have to further test this one. This camera has actually surged a little bit in popularity recently, especially in like the pink and orange color, like this is. Not a ton of orange cameras out there. If this was in good working condition, the value on this would be 40 to 50. In its current condition, if it was working, it'd be more of a value of like 25 to 35. So I'll see if I can test this and get the acid cleaned up and get it working again. Whoa, Canon PowerShot A50. Neat. I'm getting some, these are kind of cool retro cameras. Now when I say whoa, I'm not saying that because generally there's a ton of value. It's just a neat nostalgic camera like this guy is. Canon PowerShot A50. Look at this kind of brick. Haven't seen this in a while. Yeah, now it's not powering on. And there's some issue with the LCD screen as well, and the compact flash door isn't closing right. So I'm gonna have to work on this camera. It did provide a little bit of hope initially, but I'm gonna have to take a look at it a little bit more. So no value on this one for now. Oh, this one's got a ton of battery acid. GEX5, just a different color than the one we had before. Same camera, just different color. And this one's got tons of acid inside. That's just my other camera. Bye-bye camera, you died. So this camera, I will put in with the batch to try to clean all of this out and see if they work. Generally, it depends on the brand. With the GE, the success rate's generally not high because a lot of times the batteries have been stored in there for years and it's super corroded. Just like that one is. So that's gonna be a problem. No value on that one. Fujifilm FinePix 2600. Let's try a test picture. Yep. Cool. Get that cleaned up a little bit. It's in decent working condition. Does have a fair amount of wear. Value on this camera is going to be about $20. Fujifilm FinePix 2600. JVC Super VHS camcorder, no battery. We'll test this one later, so I won't assign any value to it. Another Kodak film camera, very inexpensive. Been through those before. Very cheap AAA powered DXG camera. I'll test this one later and see if it works and donate it. Not a whole lot of value here. 3 megapixel camera, so very small. Oh wow, another Canon PowerShot A470 in pink instead of orange. This one, the battery tray looks good. Let's throw some dubs in there and see what happens. Yep, power's on, nice. And doesn't appear to have any battery issues. Lens is noisy, but does work. Let's see, yeah, cool. Decent condition. Some wear around the lens rim. Battery, or the AV door tray is fine. Throw in a small memory card and just test it with the card. Yep. Alright, so this is in fair working condition. Value on this Canon PowerShot A470 is going to be about $40, $45. I'll go with the lower side of 40 with a memory card and batteries. Kodak Easy Share M1063 uses the KLIC 7001 battery, which I have. I'll go grab real quick. Battery. Crack! Oh, crack. Big old crack on the top. Did not see that before. So that is an issue, potentially. Certainly call that out in the item description if you were to sell it. Generally something like that. Oh, lens error. Okay, I'll try to work on that one a little bit later, but like I said, probably not going to be working. If this was working, it wouldn't have a ton of value in the current condition that it's in. Like 15 or 20 bucks probably. Looks like a giveaway. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. No brand and nothing. Looks like it came out 15 years ago. Epson Photo PC 650. Wow, this is cool. Epson also made cameras. And it has a memory card inside of it too. Looks like it uses compact flash. Let's see what we got in there. Dink. 48 megabyte. It's an unusual size. Set to off. Let's see what kind of batteries this uses. Double A's, and it has wear and some acid residue inside of the battery compartment. No power on it. Okay, I'll have to try to see if I can get this one back working again. Camera doctor. Camera doctor it. So no value right now. I'd have to look up the value on this one. This is either 1 or less megapixel camera that came out over 20 years ago. So probably not a whole lot of value, but sometimes, depending on supply and demand, there may be a little bit of value. I am going to save that compact flash card though. Nikon Coolpix 775. This uses a 2CR5 battery or ENEO1, which I have. I think that one. Oh, battery, huh? Yeah. Coolpix 775. There is a really old address label on there, probably from 20 years ago. Let's see if it turns on. Oh, it does turn on. Cool. Look at that. Nikon Coolpix 775. I have some sticker residue removal I can use on the grip and get that removed. And there's a little bit of wear on the top of the camera. I'll also get that removed. Otherwise in decent working condition. Value on this little cam is about 20 bucks. Just because it doesn't come with any accessories. Canon PowerShot SD800 metal body camera with a Canon NB5L battery. Immediately noticed that the LCD screen is broken, unfortunately. Internally broken. So may have a little bit of value if you use the optical viewfinder, but that LCD is going to be pretty messed up. So I'll test this later, but generally not much value in a camera like this, unfortunately. If this was in good working condition and better cosmetic condition than this camera, this can actually have a decent amount of value, like 50, 60 bucks I've seen it sell for. Sony DSC S700, which is a AA powered digicam. Quite a bit of wear from battery corrosion inside of the battery terminal. So I'll go ahead and add this guy to the pile that I'll test for later. Physical condition looks pretty rough, so in all likelihood this camera probably won't work. If this was in working condition, a value of about 15 or 20. Widely put this in my battery area, widely produced camera. I think the DSC S700 or S750 was actually one of Sony's best selling in terms of quantity cameras of all time. And when it came out, it was actually pretty expensive. Fujifilm FinePix A201. 2 megapixel camera, and it uses a smart media card for memory. Very, very small optical zoom, like 2x maybe. Maybe it's all digital. It did work, did take a picture. So yeah, this is in okay working shape. So this is something because it uses a fairly unusual type of memory. If you were to sell this either locally or online, I would just make sure that the customer knows what type of memory card this uses, because normally for this type of camera, like this camera is worth 20 bucks, so that's what the value is. But this memory card, like I was saying before, is actually worth $30. So the memory card is worth more than the camera in this case. But unfortunately it didn't come with one. A201, 20 bucks. We've got a Kodak EasyShare C190 missing the plastic battery door entirely. Still has the metal contact points on one side, missing it on the other. So this is going to be a 4-parts deal. So I'll put that in my 4 parts area. What's this? Oh, a film camera. Olympus 35 to 70 millimeter autofocus, uses a CR1. Oh, 2 CR1. Whoa, what are these? Oh no, that's a CR123. 2 of them. Kind of battery hungry. Put these in my battery area. This is strange. You don't normally see this type of design in a battery compartment. Oh, power's on. Shows full battery. Kind of wasn't expecting that for some reason. Flash shows it's on. Lens actually looks decent. Let's try taking a pic, shall we? I don't think there's any film in there. Decent working condition, fair amount of wear on the top of the camera. So not film tested, but appears to be working fine. Value on this camera is going to be about $25. Olympus makes a bunch of Olympus Stylus Infinity film cameras that you'll see in a lot of other YouTube videos. I get those in occasionally as well. They sell like that. And normally, depending on the model, they'll sell between $75 and $150. So just like anything, the condition really matters in value of these. If this was in really good condition with epoxy, the value on this would be closer to $50. Konica Minolta. Got a couple of those in. Konica Minolta Damage Z20. This is a neat little camera. Has an SD card in there too. Oh, how nice. 1 gigabyte SD card. The SD card slot looks good. Doot. Flip it around to auto, power it on. This has a viewfinder only mode and a live view LCD mode. I have it in the viewfinder only mode right now, so you'll actually see the menu through the viewfinder. Moves in and out. I'm going to flip it to the LCD, which you'll see there, so you can see me. We'll move the lens in and out, moving smoothly, and we're going to try to take a picture here. Flash fires. Oh, picture actually turned out pretty good. Nice. This camera's in really good working condition. How do you like that sound effect? That's pretty awesome. Sold a lot of these over the years. Condition on this one is actually quite good compared to most that I've sold. Looking at a value of between $30 and $40 here. I'm going to go ahead and say $35 on this model. Got another Canon PowerShot here. Digital IXUS 800 IS, which I believe is meant for the international and I think European market. maybe Japanese. Not 100% sure. If you know, leave a comment down below. Normally you can look up this model and it will correspond with the US version, so you'll know exactly what this camera is. Sometimes the language menu is different. That's the main difference. It uses a Canon NB5L battery. I do see there's quite a bit of issues, and I see some dead lines on the LCD. Does not power on. I'll go grab a charge. Well, I might have a charged battery here. Let's see if this guy works. Yep. So that one's dead. Let's see if this works. Lens moves out. Lens actually looks decent. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean about the lines on the LCD, so you can see the lines there. Got some problems, but doesn't affect the actual picture quality. It's just on the display itself, so the pictures will end up fine, but it does drastically affect the value. This is a neat, pretty well built camera, 6 megapixels with the built-in viewfinder. So if you're using that viewfinder, you may not even bother you that much that the LCD has some problems. So value on this camera in its current condition, you're looking at probably right around $25. In excellent working condition with a box and all the original accessories, these cameras sell between 40 and 80, up to $100. Number of small cameras left, mainly, it looks like. We've got a Gateway. So we've got Gateway, we've got Epson, we've got HP. Who are we missing here? I mean, Sony made Vaio computers. We've got Dell. We haven't gotten a Dell yet, I don't think. Gateway 4 megapixel. AA powered camera. You know, my first computer growing up was a Gateway. Back in the old, that was pre-internet days, actually. Sad days those were, back before the interwebs. I haven't gotten a Gateway computer, or Gateway. I haven't gotten a Gateway camera in a long time. Power's on. I doubt they manufactured this themselves. I wonder if they worked with another company like 20 years ago to make it. Yeah, moves in and out fine. See if she takes a picture. Red light's flashing, so that means the flash is charging. It's set to automatic flash right now. So let's see if it works. Yeah, it does. Wow, that's cool. Gateway DC-M42. Now, because I haven't sold this particular model, I haven't even seen a Gateway camera in quite a long time, I don't know what it's worth. So, oh, there's a lady that's making a funny face. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up. So when I look stuff up, normally I do it on my computer. Obviously I don't know everything. I mean, it's hard to know exactly what every single camera is valued at. It does make it helpful if I'm somewhere without any internet access. Normally I can tell the value of stuff really quickly. It's part of the good thing about specializing in certain categories. So you could do this with records. You could do this with high-end audio gear. You could do this with cell phones. I mean, you can do it with a lot of variety of categories. I just found one and kind of settled into it. So what I do whenever I look up pricing, getting back to that, is I actually look up sold listings only if you're looking on a website like eBay, because oftentimes when you look at what is currently live, you will see inflated prices, and those products will never sell. So I try to look at actual sold listings. So value on this one is very low. You're looking at about 15 bucks, maybe for like a vintage Gateway collector or someone looking for a nostalgic camera. And it is a digicam. Came out like 15, 20 years ago. So Gateway DC-M42. Canon PowerShot A570. It has a corroded door. Nice. Noisy, noisy, noisy. LCD has some highlighting on the edges. Some vignetting on the sides, which is common. Had some issues. Turning on and turning off. Appears to be some sort of lens issue. And now it just got stuck. Okay, I'm gonna have to work on this one a little bit later. It's a bummer. Still has that port issue, but if this was in actual good working condition, value on this camera is pretty decent. Normally you'll see this sell for 40 to 50, higher with better value. Condition like this, if it was working, you'd be looking at a value of probably around 25. But I'm gonna have to do a little work and see if I can get this into working condition. But it doesn't look promising. Another Canon PowerShot A80. AA battery powered. digicam, and looks to be decent. Ooh, power's on. Flip it to photo mode. So a lot of my time and efficiency is because I've used these cameras so much. I've used their menus and I'm familiar with them. I can get going pretty quickly from camera to camera, and that just comes with time and having done so many cameras over the years. Don't have a memory card in there, but the picture took fine. Yeah, cool. So this camera actually has a fair amount of value. Built pretty well, even with the rubber port door missing. I would say it's in fair working condition. Pair it with a small compact flash memory card, and the value on this is actually surprisingly decent, of around $75 on this Canon PowerShot A80. So that's the most valuable camera we've gotten so far on this lot, I believe. Ooh. Oh, I got excited when I saw the back and I went, hey, looks like a Canon PowerShot. And it is, but now you look at it. That doesn't look so good. Bent lens housing. This camera is like 99% of the time not going to work. It does have an NB4L battery that I will take and see if it works later. Try to recycle everything I can. Even broken. So the cool thing about the SD1400 is in good working condition, the value of this camera is worth like 100 to 125. Even broken as is for parts, you could probably sell this for like 10 or 15 bucks. I'm not going to sell this individually because it's just too low of a price. Ansco telephoto little film camera. No value on this. Probably donate it. Looks to be in decent shape. Kodak EasyShare C140. A teal kind of turquoise colored digicam. Uses AA batteries. Does look like the LCD has some black dead lines on it though. Power's on. Oh, a lot more than just some. Let's look at that. You get an idea of what that looks like. You see the horizontal black lines. So normally that's just on the display and doesn't affect the actual pictures. Lens moves in and out. Let's try a test picture and see if it works. Yeah. So picture looks good. Definitely impacts the value. In good working condition, this camera would actually have a value of like 35 to 40. But with those dead horizontal lines, I'm going to give it a value of 15. So Kodak EasyShare C140. And we got another Kodak. Kodak EasyShare C743. I see potential issues on this one as well. Any memory card? No memory card. Flip it on. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. I don't like that. Broken LCD. This does have an optical viewfinder, so the pictures could still turn out okay. I'm going to have to test this one for later, but no value for now. If this wasn't, and it has a loose battery door too, very common. So if this was in good working condition, this Kodak C743 would actually have a value of about 35, but unfortunately no value. Kodak EasyShare DX6440. Sold a bunch of these. Green flashing. Oh, LCD popped on. There we go. Lens moves in and out. A little bit noisy. See if it takes a picture. It does. See if it takes a picture with a flash. It does. Nice. Bit of wear on the screws. Would note that in the item description as well. Again, most of these I'm going to sell probably on eBay. And I just try to take good pictures. I used to use a Canon EOS M50 Mark II for most of my eBay pictures. I still do occasionally. I also have my Canon EOS R50, which is what is filming this right now. And I use that to take some pictures as well. So value of this Kodak EasyShare DX6440 is going to be about 20 bucks with the slightly loose battery door and the slightly noisy lens. Another Kodak. Kodak EasyShare CW330. I have sold this one before as well. A little bit of residue in the battery compartment. Doesn't look too bad though. Ooh. Yeah, it didn't look too bad. Power's on. Lens moves in and out. Okay, let's take a picture. Yep. Nice. Okay, decent little camera. Decent little digicam. 4 megapixel camera in decent working condition, AA powered. Looking at a value of about 20 on this. W330. Another Kodak EasyShare. Different model again, C330. Also AA powered. Has a broken battery door. You can see the crack there. That will probably prove to be... it might still work. Handle things a little bit gingerly here. Yep. Okay, so it does take pictures. Definitely has quite a bit of wear and has the battery door issue, which is a major concern because once you lose that structural integrity that barely is hanging on there, you're not really going to be able to close this without using tape. So not a whole lot of value on this, like $10 is what I would give the value here. But this is going to require definitely a specific type of buyer that would be interested in this. Not much standalone value on this one, so maybe group it with something else. Alright, we've got 2 cameras left. A Canon PowerShot SD630, which is another metal-bodied Canon PowerShot that was released quite a few years ago. 6 megapixels. Canon NB4L battery. That one's charged. I don't know if it is. Ooh, sounded good. Pew! Love that sound. Menu. I'm just hitting the menu button, that's all. Not doing anything else. So we've got a bunch of dead lines, and it says lens error. Restart camera. And the lens is stuck out now. Okay. Yeah, so in good working condition, this camera actually has a decent amount of value, like $40 to $60. This camera's not in good working condition. It's got a lot of issues, so I'm gonna have to save it and see if I can get it working later. So no value on this guy for now. Last camera. Oh, yes, last camera. Nikon Coolpix S3500 in rough shape. Loose top housing and has wear to the LCD. This uses the Canon EN-EL19 battery, which is this guy here. Maybe the last camera. I hope you work, last camera. Does power on, that's a start. Oh, it's got internal damage. You can see, barely see the LCD, and there's a lot of like dust or debris and looks like water, moisture stuck inside. So that's a major issue. Let's see if it still works. Lens cover does not extend. This camera's got some serious issues, so no value on this, unfortunately. Normally, if I can salvage or make a camera work, I will try to do it using the limited skills that I have. But unfortunately, no value there. So that was the last camera of box number 5. So kind of similar value, close to 400, I think, on, I don't think we quite got there on this last box, but somewhere around 400 on the last box with a buy cost of 142. Once you factor in all of those expenses like I talked about before, it's a decent return, but not quite what I'm looking for. I hope in the next box, box 6 and 7, we get to some bigger profit. But we're kind of nickel and diming our way to success here so far. We've only had one box that wasn't great. These last 2 boxes were fair, given the types of cameras that were included. I think we've got some better stuff coming. We still have some DSLRs coming. We've got some other camcorders and hopefully some higher end point and shoot cameras as well. So make sure you stick around and watch the next video. And thanks for watching.